Here, I'll make an official starting. Welcome everyone to the April meeting of koha-US acquisition SIG. Hope you all have your taxes in. It's tax day today, but we'll ignore all that. So I just wanted to welcome everyone, and I'll just kind of share the agenda. Holly and I put together a couple of videos recording processes for acquisitions stuff, EDI, one version of EDI and another version of non-EDI, like Amazon kinds of things. And just as kind of a conversation starter for us. But before we hopped into that, I wanted to see if there's anybody that's coming to this meeting. I recognize, I think, everybody's name. But if you're new, if it's your first time here, let us know. And then if not, if there's anybody that has a particular question that we can address first before we kind of go into the general program for the day. Okay. No new people, no questions. Okay. So what I thought we would do is just show this video of Holly going through the step. We decided to record it ahead of time so that we wouldn't run into any surprises along the way. So I am going to try to share this. We'll see how it all goes. All right. Share. Oh, hang on. I'm going to do this in a different order. Why is this not working? Okay. All right. So now here we go. Oops. There we go. Okay. So can everybody see kind of a black screen? So I'm going to go over the non-EDI one first and pause this a second. Make it a little bigger. Go about that. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I'm going to move those over there. All right. So what I'm going to do is just kind of let this go. And if you have questions, this is, yeah, what is it? 5 minutes. And Holly's kind of narrating through it. If I need to turn up the audio, let me know. And then we can, if you want to shout out at some point, we can pause and just talk about whatever questions that we have. So here we go.
Okay, so this is going to be how we order not EDI, either off of an existing record or just making our own sort of skeleton record for an item. For this example, we're going to do Amazon.
It's hard to hear, Rhonda.
Okay.
And I don't think we're seeing anything other than the black screen.
This month.
Oh, interesting. Okay, hang on. Yeah, you are sharing. Oh. Hang on here. How about that? I opened it. All right, so it's hard to hear. That's what I was afraid of. I clicked all the optimize for sound and share sound and stuff like that. So maybe what I'll do is, Ollie, with your help, we can just talk through it a little bit and go from there. I'm gonna move this stuff out of the way. Can everybody see the screen now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's try this again.
Okay, so this is going to be how we
Is that still
order,
too quiet?
not EDI, either off of an existing record or just making our own.
I can hear whispering, that's all.
Okay,
for an item.
all right, then we'll just kind of turn the
For this
sound
example,
down
we're gonna do
and
Amazon.
kind of talk through it.
Vendor.
So what we're gonna do here is, this is an example of how we order through Amazon. It's a non-EDI, and if you have, like Baker and Taylor or Ingram or whatever, you could download the brief mark records from the website and then upload it and, add it to Koha that way, and then just order from the website. We're just going to do like one item here and show you what that looks like. So she's picking, and Holly, jump in.
We have a basket for this
Yeah, so there's the April basket that we have for, we just do month, Amazon by the month.
and when
So
we
she
add
wants
this
to add to the basket, and she's going to add it
a record that we
from
already have or from
a new
record,
empty record or an existing record. So I think the first time we do the
the record that we
existing
already
record,
have, we'll use
and we picked Buffalo Hunter because we had some a high hold ratio on that. So she's searching for that under the existing record and then submitting it. And look, we found it.
that's the bucket.
So there's this add to or add order. Click on that and set the not for loan. Very important to set the not for loan, because if it's available, people will come in expecting to see it. Set the item type and add it to the basket. Then you have to update or indicate what fund you want it from, and then put the price that Amazon has it listed for, and then save it. And if we search on this, you can see, oops, the Buffalo Hunter is in the basket. And if you come over here, you can see there's an item added with the ordered status, so that patrons know that there's something,
over to our Amazon
that
account
something has been
and buy the
ordered.
book,
Um,
and then
Okay, so questions about that? People do things differently. Anything? Okay. All right, then I'm going to restart this, and the next one will be a new item, something that we don't have in the
that is
catalog.
it. When we receive it, it's another couple of steps, but that's the adding it to the basket and ordering it so it shows us on order in Koha.
Okay. Oh, yeah. And then,
Okay, and so now we are going to show you how to add an item
And
that you don't already have.
in order to add something
Not
to a
off an
basket, it
existing
has to be
record.
opened.
For this example, we'll stay
Not
with
sure what we're
Amazon.
talking about
We're gonna
here.
add to the basket.
So here we're going to go to a new empty record. And
This is
then
pretty flexible.
you
just
put
can
in
use
as
or
much
little information as you want
detail as you
for
want.
our purposes.
Title is required, but then you can put in all the other information, ISBN.
Checkout. It's not for loan.
Important to get the I-type right and to get the not for loan, get that all correct. Those are the main things that you want to have. I gotta stop moving my mouse around.
And we're gonna
And then
choose
again, you
code.
put in the fund, and we're just gonna leave this 0 because we really don't want to
Amount.
order this
Since
book.
this is
So we don't want it to
just
mess
for
with our
pretend
fund.
purposes,
Um,
we're gonna say
And then
and
save that.
save it.
And that will create a brief
And there we can see our
record
test book
um,
on order here.
in the system, you
And
know, with
then
just the
in
title,
order to
basically,
receive this
in
type
it.
of item,
And
if you ordered on EDI, you're gonna wanna make sure your
then
basket is closed.
You close the basket. You can see,
And then we're gonna select receive shipments.
in order to receive shipments, the basket has to be closed. So we just
an
put
invoice.
in, for Amazon, we just put in the date
Amazon usually
um,
receives the date.
of the, when we received it as the vendor number or the invoice number.
And this will
And
show us
then
everything that's
we
on
just have
order
this one
that we haven't received from Amazon.
book that,
There's our
you know,
item.
pending order here.
And we're gonna
Click on receive, and then you
click
can,
this one, receive, and
here's
here,
an
you
opportunity to
can- if for any
change
reason the
the
prices change
amounts of, you know,
or add in
Amazon changes the
like
prices, which, oh, they
you can
never do
adjust it
that.
here,
And,
we're gonna
or
stay
whatever,
for our
you can, or
prices.
you, if you want to change the fund that it's going to or
Confirm,
stuff. So then,
and then
so
we're gonna
now this
finish
is
receiving.
received on there,
And
and you
last
can
chance to,
um,
double
add
check
processing
our-
costs and the fund that they're related
and
to.
close that
And
invoice.
then if you want, you don't have to, and then save.
Save. And now it's been received.
And that will
And we won't be able
give
to see our
you,
basket there 'cause it won't show anything pending.
yeah, so when we closed it, the basket won't show up in our open baskets. We'll have to go in
Everything's been
and,
received,
and look,
including our
do see all.
test book.
And then if we scroll down here, we can
There
see
it
that
is.
our test
So we
book
have
was
received.
received with no money against our accounts. Okay. All right, so any questions about that? Anything that you want to see again? Anything that you guys do differently? Anything that you'd like to see? All those are,
I thought it was a good video. One thing that I do differently that is just a matter of personal preference potentially is I use the order number from Amazon. That is the, I don't know how long it is. It's like 20 characters long. Just because if I ever make repeat purchases of the same title, it helps me clarify which one I'm looking at if I need to figure something out later.
okay, yep. Okay, Christie says they do that as well. Yeah, that's a good point too.
Been a while since we've done anything non-EDI. And I don't think we've ever used Amazon, so just seeing how you guys do it, that might actually help us if we do end up needing to do that in the future. So I like that it's on the instructions are available anyway.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we end up, I don't know about other people, but we end up using the Amazon to, mostly it's duplicates to fill, you know, because it's much quicker to get them in from Amazon than from, you know, yeah, anywhere is right. So that's the main reason, you know, my librarian heart kind of clenches when we use Amazon, but that's okay. Okay. Usually rush purchases. Yep. Yep. Okay. And then let me close this one. Okay, so the other little video, it's about the same length, a minute longer, that we recorded was our EDI process. So Holly, do you want to narrate this one? Because you probably have a better sense of what's going on.
No.
I knew that was going to be the answer.
I can try if you want.
Okay.
I feel like you knocked it out of the park with that last one, but I'll give it a
Okay.
go if you want.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna let you
Just be prepared for the dulcet sounds of the toilet flushing behind me.
okay. We'll gear ourselves up for that. Okay. All right. So here I go. I'm pressing play. This is our EDI process.
I'm not seeing the video.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
yeah. Rhonda is, yeah.
I win.
You. All right, let's try this again. Share sound, optimize screen sharing for viewing. Got it. Share. Now, can you see it?
I can see it.
Okay. We'll try it again. This is our EDI process.
Oh, goody. Here we go. Okay. So we are over on our I page. This is where our lists are, baskets or lists. I think iPage calls them lists. So this is where our collection developers create their lists. And I think for, what are we doing? We're doing a YA graphic novel list for this particular example.
She's got grids applied already.
And we're just showing you here that we've got everything gridded in the list. We've already looked it over. So what I do then is put one big overarching grid over the whole thing.
Overall grid to lay over everything, just in case anything in there wasn't gridded.
Get there, we're scrolling and we're scrolling.
Oh.
And we're gonna apply that.
And that's not the grid we ended up using. There was some editing done later.
Well, yeah,
but
I didn't.
anyway,
Yeah, I didn't actually edit it, so I'm gonna scoot it forward.
okay. Yeah,
There
was
because I couldn't figure out how to get it back to the editor. So we can
okay.
cut that out. Yeah, we'll just cut that out. So that's
At
what
some point we figure out which grid we're going to use and we apply it. And then we download the brief marks from iPage, which is what's coming up here in just a second.
And then we're going to download this from iPage.
Alrighty, there we are. And we're going to download that. Okay, and then we're going to jump back over to Koha and we're going to go to the acquisitions module and we're going to select Ingram as our vendor. That's our big vendor for us. And once we get over to Ingram, we're going to create a basket.
We're going to create a new basket.
And we're going to name it. We usually use the date that we're doing the order and what we're ordering or who's doing that in our contract. Will be kids. And then we're going to save that basket. And then we're going to go to another Koha tab and we're going to stage those records so that we can add them to the basket.
Go to the cataloging module.
So we'll go to cataloging. We're going to stage the records for import. Go grab that file that we got from iPage.
This one right here.
And we're going to upload that. I'm going to use the ACQ import template.
Import template.
And these are all new items, so we want a strict ISBN.
ISBN strict matching.
We use loose if we're doing dupes so that we can ping them off the existing record, but these are all new, so we want all the new stuff coming in. And we're going to stage that. And it'll just take a quick second, usually. It's done, yay. So we can go back over to our basket and select add to the basket. And we're going to choose from a staged file because we have that file ready to add.
It's gonna be our,
And it's usually the one right there at the top.
gonna add those.
And we're going to add it.
There they are.
And then I always select all, make sure everything's right. The fund code's correct.
Everything looks right.
Collection code's
the right
good.
colors,
Make sure everything
right
is
colors.
what we want it to be and is assigned to the correct fund codes, item types, all that good stuff. If it's something that we've ordered before, this is you'll see in this part here, you'll see it pinging off a record. So,
It would also tell us here
you know,
if being off a record that we
if you don't want,
have.
if it's not a dupe or it's an accidental dupe, you can always catch it at this point. And then if everything looks good, you hit save at the bottom and you'll get another chance to look at it again on the next screen. There we go. And just, I always do another quick look through, make sure all the, the total matches. We wanted to order 12 items. We've got 12 items. Nothing
It looks good.
weird, funky going on. And if everything looks good, you can click create your order and you're going to match your account to the one that you created the basket with. So the 2665, we want it to go out on 2665 and then close. And that's that part done in Koha. I'll get a order confirmation from Ingram. I just double check when I get that email from Ingram, I double check that they got the right numbers from us. Everything matches, everything is good. And once I get that from Ingram, then we're all set. And I think that's it. Anything else, Rhonda?
No, I think that's, yep, that's it. And then we didn't show the receiving because that's magic in the background. A file gets sent to an FTP server from the vendor, and then Koha goes in and grabs the file and then receives all the items on the invoice. And we don't have to do any of the receiving at that point.
Yeah.
One,
We do occasionally go through those, and I guess that's one of the reasons we always do the date first, is we can go through and see if there's a order that's been hanging out. Sometimes, you'll see there's still one item expected. We can go back in and check and see, because Ingram will cancel stuff or it won't get sent to us. So we can go back in and clean up. But yeah, everything is usually received automatically.
So I had a comment and or question, Holly and Rhonda. So it looks like you're doing an extra step that we don't do. We actually add, once we download the MARC records from the vendor, we add that directly to the basket. It seems like you're staging the file prior. Why are you guys doing that?
I think probably habit.
Yeah.
We used to do that, and when I first started, we used to do that where we had to stage the file first and then go in. But then I forget who I was talking to, but somebody told me that I could download it. I could upload it as a new file directly from the my download folder, and that will put it directly into the basket, the acquisition basket that I'm in. It's I don't think that there's a difference. I've never seen any difference with it. It's just all about preference, really. But I thought that was interesting. That's how we do it now. We do it from the new file rather than the stage file, but both should work.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
have to try that. I mean, yeah, I think it's force of habit for us. It's just how we've always done it. And if it works with Koha, we don't want to break it. So
Thanks, Kristi.
Question I had about your mark file, I've noticed that you don't have replacement price. You have it at 0. How is that affecting your, like, do you, I'm sure when an item is lost, you charge the patron, like, however amount. How do you charge the patron, or do you do that with the second batch?
Yeah, it comes in with the full record.
Oh, okay.
The price will come in with the full record, and then the items get overwritten at that point. And I don't know why it doesn't come in on the brief record, but yeah.
So are you encumbering the list price or the price you're actually paying?
Neither. We've got like Ingram set up at a specific percentage discount. So we are encumbering whatever the retail price is minus that percentage. So that's what we end up encumbering.
So is that a flat percentage across all types of materials? So you might get a discount of 40 something on a hardcover and 20 something on a children's something.
Yep. Yeah. So we sort of did some math to kind of figure out where the happy place was, because the processing isn't included in the retail price. So I think we have it set at like between 25 and 30%, where some books we get 45 or 49 or something like that discount, and other ones we get more, but the ones that we get that 45% discount, we're also paying for processing. So, we have it kind of set in as close to what we think is average. And then when the items actually come in, then the account gets charged the right amount.
So when things are still on order at the end of the year, you're not really quite sure how much money.
Yeah.
You're okay.
Yeah, we don't have an exact number. We've got a
Yeah.
ballpark number.
Yeah, ours is exact, so we know we're encumbering the discounted price we're expecting to pay per item.
Okay.
I also wanted to comment, it was in the last, I don't know, time goes quickly, maybe 3 or 4 upgrades. When you're staging an import, like adding it to a basket, or you just received, you're adding like a full record when you're receiving the items. Koha now has the ability to make profiles, and it's a drop down. And it's been really helpful for me, because when you're busy or if you get interrupted in the process, I have like book full record, book on order record. So I've set up the drop downs. Everything beneath the profile, all the drop downs are preset when you set a profile up.
So that profile will preset all those drop downs underneath it.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So
We
then
use those, and it is very handy because sometimes it's hard to remember which thing you want to pick from a drop down. So, once you know what you want to set up, you can have your, whatever template you're going to use, whatever match you're going to make, whether you're adding items or not. And then you can select that profile, and it will just populate each of those drop downs with the values, and then you don't have to remember which combination.
Mhm. So does everybody know where that is?
I think that one, is that the one for mark modification template? No. Is that mark modification?
It's stage for
Oh.
import.
Yeah, stage for import. Let me see if I can get back. I'll just pull
I
up.
think all you have to do is like the first, when you don't have one for it yet, you go and select all of those things from the drop down that you do want. And then there's somewhere on that page, if there's something that's like save as a profile. And you click that and then you name that profile. And then it will exist from that point forward. And then if you decide you want to change that profile, you can edit it somehow. I don't remember how, and you can, change it up. Like, I thought it needed to be this, but now it needs to be that. And I think, because I think it's not real, until you have them, it's not real obvious how to do it.
I think
Right.
I know which one you're talking about. You're talking about the pre-fill values with profile section. Like,
Probably.
is it the one where where when you stage the file, it says default import or like ordering import, cataloged import kind of thing?
Yeah, that's it. You're at the right place.
Okay.
I'm happy to, I don't know if I could share my screen, or if Rhonda can pull it up.
Yeah, I'm working on the demo site, trying to get to the right place. See if I can pull up a vendor here. Oh, that's not.
'Cause we use that. But the thing that we don't use is the modify records using marc mod template. Is that useful to anyone? It's also in the stage file, and I
Yeah.
don't mean to like split it off from a question, but
Yeah, I know our catalogers use those quite a bit. So let me share this screen again. I'm in the Koha demonstration server, and maybe Kristi, if you want to, I just pulled up Amazon as a thing. So then we would add to the basket from
From a new file.
a new file. Okay. I don't know that I have a file out here. I've got too much stuff in here. Yeah. Oh, anything. All right, so let's go back. Let's do from a empty record. Will that work?
No, it's not quite the same.
Yeah, it's not the same.
I
Did
can
you want me
share.
to share?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hang on. I've stopped sharing.
Can you guys see?
Yep.
Okay, so basically you go to, so if you're adding to a basket, excuse me. So this is the part where you can like bypass what Holly did. And I think that Charlie's doing this too. So you're just browsing. I'm going to just pull a file. You're uploading it. And then here's where the profile is. So you don't have to use a profile. And then you're, just using these drop downs. But like if I'm adding to a basket, now this is the part that is not working that I talked about last time. It's the bug in Koha that's going to be fixed in the next upgrade. But so like this is book on order records, full records, and then we have like added copy accounts so it doesn't overlay the current record. So let's say I'm just on order records. So it's just checking for ISBN, ignoring the record if a matching record's found, and then always adding if no match is found, and always add items because I'm ordering. So here's where I save my profile, and you could again name it whatever you want, remove it, and then you stage for import. So otherwise you're just populating these every time. Like for my full record, it goes to ISBN, always replace the record because now you're getting a full record, but you want to replace the item. You don't want to add another item. So they're all different depending on which profile you save. And this is where you name it and save it.
Okay.
I use those all the time.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Okay.
And Charlie, what was your question that you had asked? About do people use?
The marc template, excuse me, the marc templates, which is like not the pre-filled profiles, but below it, the modify records using marc modification template. It's right underneath the settings.
Yeah, so we use that, and Holly, we have an acquisitions one, modification template, and I think it's only got like 2 commands in it, or, you know, things that we do to every record that comes in. And so we do use that as well. I haven't looked at that for a long time to see.
And can I ask why both of you use it? Because we've never touched it.
Oh, okay. We use it. Let me go see if I can find it on our system, which is under tools. Or is it, did they move it over to cataloging? Marc modification templates, yeah.
I think they moved it to cataloging.
Yep. Just found it. I was like, wait, what? So, oh, okay. So the main reason that we did it was back in the day, when we were on Horizon, there was no good way to indicate that something was on order. And so we would add on order to the title field, like subfield, I don't know what, you know, and put on order in there and add that to every title, like 245 field. The only thing that we've got left in here now, we got rid of that because Koha is so much better at indicating that something is on order. So the only thing that we have in it now is to update existing or add new field 942C with the value of on order, so that we know that it's an on order record. And that we used to have 2 or 3 things, and it's just slowly diminished, and I may even rethink this one here. But that's the kind of thing. More often what happens is we have we've got marc modification templates for like Ingram fiction books, and the catalogers will use that because we don't use fast subject headings, or so they'll delete all the fast subject heading just in this, using this marc modification template, and just some general fields that we don't use.
I think this is here mainly because this is used by catalogers less often because it's the same import, but we use it to set certain item, like bib item types, if it's not explicit in the record that's coming in. Also use it if we want something that if we were going to load something, we don't want a bunch of holds on it or don't want it to appear, we'll have it come in as suppressed from the get-go. And then we also have a few fields we use to differentiate whose book it is, because we have separate bibs for each library in our Koha.
Oh, okay.
We
Yeah.
were using it for our orders from Find Away. So when we were bringing those in, we were bringing in the I-type and collection codes and things like that for wonder books and playaways and that kind of thing. But it stopped actually working at some point, I think an upgrade or so ago, and we still haven't figured out why. It's like the marc modification template looks correct, but it doesn't seem to be applying anymore correctly through the acquisitions process. And I'm not sure why, but
And Charlie, do you use it on that chain, the import stage for import screen? Is that what you said?
No, I don't use it. That I was wondering why it's in there. But yeah, we don't use it. So I mean that makes I can see us using it for like suppressed records and stuff like that. So that's something to think about for sure. I'm just so the reason why I'm asking all these questions about the staging marc files is because we're having this issue right now. I just put it up with the bug number in the chat. When we are importing our marc files, we're getting 500 errors. The reason why is when we add the order, the item information is not coming over correctly, so it gives us the 500 error. So I was wondering if anybody else is here is dealing with that. It seems kind of sporadic because we don't now. I don't stop the librarians from sending in order whenever we hit a 500. Now we just tell them, just keep going. If there is a 500, just let us know. So it's been mostly, the acquisition has been mostly working, but we're still getting the 500 errors. And we're trying to see if anybody else has like a workaround or somebody's dealing with that and etc.
What screen are you getting them on?
We're getting it. So as soon as we click select all on all the records that are coming in, then it'll say 500 error.
Holly, did we have that?
We've gotten the 500 error before.
Mhm. Was there a solution or?
I know that we've had it happen when we update, and I think something had to be adjusted with plugins, maybe. I could be misremembering that. And then sometimes we just get it as a one-off. I think sometimes we just get it as a hiccup and I re-download and try again later, and sometimes it works just fine. It's just finicky sometimes. I'm not, never really dug down into it. But yeah, actually when we update, we have some occurrence of the 500 error, and it usually requires a help desk ticket to get it sorted.
We're not getting a 500 error, but I wonder if my issue is somewhat related to this, because what I recall is on the item information tab, like the item type wasn't filled in. And so I would purposely put it in. It's like, okay, you're going to be finicky. I can do that. But then when you would go back to the select all screen, it wouldn't, rely on that. It wouldn't take that as like that I'd filled it in. So it was acting as if it still was not there. So it wasn't applying to the rest of the selected items. And I would have to go in and put those in, put the item type into each record. And I don't like to do that. And this is only for my find away orders. It doesn't happen with my Baker and Taylor stuff, but when I do the other orders is when I was having issues, and it may be related to that.
That happens too. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the error 500 is often just a generalized error when the process doesn't have a specific error, to say this is wrong or that is wrong. It just reports a 500 error. So that's sometimes why you see it after an upgrade, that one of the processes hasn't been updated properly, or, so you'll get an error 500. But what's been happening in recent releases of Koha as well, they're trying to standardize some of the screens. So if they're, making the screen that handles items look nicer in cataloging, they're saying, well, rather than having to repeat all the programming, we'll use that one standardized screen every time we deal with items. So when we're in acquisitions and we're dealing with items, we'll use the same programs going in the background. And what it means is, where maybe in cataloging we're very fussy, you have to have an item type, it's now insisting on you having an item type in acquisitions as well. And I think it's going to get tighter as we get newer releases, because some of the things we're familiar with, people see as the system being too loose and they're just tightening it up. And so it can be frustrating with an error 500, but you're right to put in tickets, and it's not always the same solution. You know, Bywater will say, yeah, we've solved it, but they might have had to do something different for ticket 1 as opposed to ticket 2. But it is improving koha all the time. So
Oh, definitely. So we used to have this issue back in the day when we first started, and I believe, like John said, I think it was an item type issue, but we resolved it by having them. They worked out the ticket, the bug, and it fixed itself or something. But now this one, oh, I'm having a brain fart moment. I don't remember why. Well, in any case, what we've been able to do before is that we would wait a bit, like Holly said, and then we'd upload it and it would work. But now we try that and we open like new baskets and we like delete like the old records and like do like a whole different order. And it's still like, it's one particular basket. We don't know why this one particular basket that's the same as like, and we have like multiple juvenile baskets, for example, going in, and just one particular juvenile basket is not going in. And we're wondering why that one is special, and just trying to see if we can avoid it in the future, if anything.
Have you opened up the records in Marc Edit and seen if there's anything weird, like no weird character issues, nothing
No,
missing?
no, everything seems to be there. Like the item type is in there. The only new thing that I saw was in there is that there's like an ebook ISBN now in there, and I don't think that should affect it.
We had
Well,
issues that a while back, and it just would happen sporadically with trying to bring in a mark file, and it was because of diacritics. And I would have to go through Marc Edit and narrow it down until I found I could get records, 1 through 10 in, and then 12 through 40, but not the one in between. And I would have to go and do something special to get that one, to come in.
We had that issue too. We resolved it by using the UTF-8 rather than the Mark 8 when we're staging our profile, and it worked out beautifully. Like it resolved it for us. So no, I know exactly what you're talking about. Well, I thought I'd bring it up just to see if anybody else had that right now. It's not like a big issue because it's only affecting like 1 out of like 20 orders right now. But the ones that are being affected haven't been sent in for like, I think the longest waiting one is like a month old. So if anything, I might just delete it and create a whole new basket again. Usually that helps. Or a whole new order on the vendor site, if anything. That usually works.
Are
But I
these
didn't wanna-
manual records, Charlie, that you're, are these manual orders that you're entering?
These are EDI orders.
And you have, because usually, well, you said it's only just a few baskets, because usually it's the information coming, like the item information should all be plugged in, but if it's just a few baskets, that's odd.
Yeah, that's why we're kind of like nonplussed here. It's like everything in the juvenile cart is going through except this one juvenile basket, and we're just wondering if somebody figured it out.
Sometimes I send the file either to the vendor's IT department and they notice something, or else I open a ticket with Bywater and then they're like, oh, something's wrong with X, and then it won't import or send.
Oh, yeah. So the ticket I gave you, that's actually the result of this being reported to Bywater, if anything. So they're working on it. I guess I'm spreading the word.
Yeah, it looks like on the 2505, it's gonna come out, right, on the release? Yeah.
Mhm. Well, that was it.
Okay. All right. Just have a few minutes left. Any other?
Was actually hoping if I could get a copy of your videos, if there's a way to do that so I can view it. Are you gonna post that somewhere so I can review it later?
Our meetings are always recorded, so you can go to the koha-US site, or YouTube, however whichever direction you want to do it, and they would be there.
Totally slipped my mind. Thank you.
Yep. And yeah. But I can send you the videos too I don't know how long it takes them to get them up.
Can you send those to the Google group, the acquisitions, the Google group? That may be a way we could all easily get the.
Yeah, I could do that. And then, yeah, I should be able to do that. Just attach them to an email and send them out. I can do that. And then, yeah. Well, how import process is handling diacritics.
That was just an answer to John's. I wasn't sure,
Oh.
because sometimes we get strange characters, and I wasn't sure if that he was referring to.
Okay.
Can I ask a non-Koha larger acquisitions question?
Absolutely.
We use Baker and Taylor primarily, and we've been running into some issues with Hachette book group publishers, everybody that is a subset of the Hachette book group, and then sometimes everybody who's a subset of Macmillan, and things that are starting to come into play like delayed delivery. It seems like sometimes the publishers aren't either printing as many copies up front or shipping as quickly to the wholesalers as they normally did. And sometimes things can start to feel almost like it's, publisher on demand, or, you feel like this book isn't that old and, we should be able to get it, but then you put it on order and it stays on order and it's like you're never going to get it. Are others experiencing that? Just general. Yeah.
We are. You're with Baker and Taylor?
Yeah.
So what we're actually doing is moving a couple of our orders over to Ingram because they don't have that problem with Hachette. Right now we're just in this like starting conversation with them, part of it, but a lot of the things that we've been needing from Baker and Taylor are actually available at Ingram. So that's just something that we found out recently.
And we may be setting up, alternate secondary vendors, but yeah, it's become more and more of an issue. And so I've been reading some stuff online and just trying to get a beat on what's happening. And yeah.
Yeah, and our primary vendor is Ingram, and they are not as responsive as they used to be pre-pandemic. Like what was the Sunset at the Reaping or whatever that is, pre-pandemic, we would have that book a week ahead of time before publication. And this time, I don't know, what was it? Was it a week late? something like that.
I think we got it on Friday or Saturday of the week it came out. We'd already ordered some from Amazon because, again, just faster, and it was here and it met the demand.
Yeah.
I'd say
So-
our delivery is pretty good for Baker and Taylor. Once it's like truly confirmed and all that, it's the things that go into back order. And then, you know, you're kind of like, well, when is it going to come? And then we'll go back and look at our oldest orders, you know, and follow up. And it's like, wow, that's been on order for quite a while. And we have a couple that we have one in particular, one publisher that it's a graphic novel publisher that we don't order from Baker and Taylor anymore because they're never going to fill it. And so we just know we're going to go and pick those up on Amazon because it's just not going to fill. So
We do all of our, right now, we do all of our ordering from, all of our book ordering, and most of our other item types from Baker and Taylor, and only like AV from Midwest. So we don't want to cut ties just because like the number of units that they're moving for us is just like, it's usually on time. It's only like adult fiction and old children picture books, for examples, that we're having trouble with. So we're trying to fill that need because adult fiction, of course, is like the item that usually has like the extensive hold lists. So we need to get those filled or else what's the point kind of thing. So I wouldn't say, I don't recommend moving entirely off Baker and Taylor, just because like depending on how much you're ordering from them, it could cause, and from what I'm hearing, I don't know if this is true, Rhonda, Ingram has like a long setup time for their EDI process. Like it takes a while for implementation to go through, like months.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of hedging my bets, I guess.
We have Baker and Taylor as our secondary vendor, you know, so that there are things that Baker and Taylor have that mostly it's better binding on some of the stuff that we go with Baker and Taylor. You know, I forget what they call it. They're special. They've got a name for their binding.
Her sap. No, wait. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and so we'll do. It's mostly children's books that we get from Baker and Taylor. Our adult fiction collector was looking, she came from a library that did Baker and Taylor, so she was looking at that for, you know, some of the ones that maybe Ingram doesn't have as readily available, but it didn't seem to be that much better. You know, they seem to be about the same as far as getting the stuff. Okay. Well, our hour is up. Want to respect everybody's time, and those of us in Central Time, we have to have our lunch. So yeah. So next month our meeting will be on May, let's see, May 20th is the third Tuesday. So we'll see everybody on May 20th, and have a happy Easter, and we will see you in May.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.